In a surprise 4th of July announcement, and happy 4th to you all out there that do celebrate, we actually have a brand new round of Nintendo Switch Online updates to talk about today because Nintendo surprise shadow dropped 7 different NES titles last night. And yes, these are all part of the Nintendo Entertainment System, which if you have nostalgia for, you may love and be very excited for some of these games. If you don't, they may have not aged the best over the years, but nonetheless, some kudos for Nintendo just dropping 7 NES games at once, where we haven't really seen them update or acknowledge that library in a big way in quite some time. As you can see the following post over on Nintendo of America's Twitter account, which reads, 7 classic games are now available to play for Nintendo Switch Online members. Urban Champion, Golf, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Mach Rider, The Mystery of Atlantis, Solar Jetman, and Cobra Triangle. I would also like to remind you all that there is a fresh 7-day trial going on right now for Nintendo Switch Online members, meaning even if you're somebody who's taken advantage of the online trial before, Nintendo just reset that history for you essentially, so they don't care if you've used the 7-day free trial before, you can use it again, and as long as you remember to cancel it, well, you get 7 free days of gameplay that you can take advantage of some of these new NES titles and make your decision on whether or not you want to stay subscribed at the end of the 7-day free trial. So in this video, I want to briefly boot up some of these games together, share some of my initial gameplay impressions on them because I personally do not have nostalgia for these games, and I also want to have a conversation about just how frequent the NSO updates have been recently and whether or not we can maybe even expect something like an expansion pack tier update to drop later this month in July. So we'll get on the same page with all of that. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And with that, we'll hop right into some NES Nintendo Switch Online gameplay. All right, so admittedly, it has been quite a while since I booted up the NES app on the Nintendo Switch, but now 7 full games to look forward to. So the mystery, it was a Mysteries of Atlantis, that might be the name. That's actually the one I'm most interested in from the trailer. I do not have nostalgia for any of these games personally, as outside of the Super Mario Bros. 1 and 3 and just kind of, Duck Hunt and some other throwback ones that I played over at my aunt and uncle's house way back in the day. I never owned an NES. I largely got into gaming on my own on the SNES. So not quite as much nostalgia for a lot of the library here. Ninja Gaiden later on in life got super into, and obviously Legend of Zelda, had to go back and play those classics 1 and 2. I'm not near as much of a fan of 2 as I am of 1, but you can see how they've really built out the NES library. I am still hopeful, like similar to the Game Boy update that we got recently, that the Mega Man NES games will get added in one day. That's another collection of NES games I would absolutely love to see. But it does look like this Mysteries of Atlantis was just a more than likely Japanese only release, just because the game's not translated into English, and it's probably one of those that, maybe was, I don't know, popular potentially over there. A lot of things did not get localized, that there was a ton more region exclusive games back then. So this is one of those that I guess I'll kind of have to see how it goes. It looks very much, I'm thinking like Indiana Jones inspiration here without it being called Indiana Jones, obviously. And I don't know what if this countdown timer is like my time for this level or not. And maybe that 100, I didn't catch if that gave me like 100 extra seconds on screen, but we'll see what ends up happening here with this game. I'm assuming I'm gonna eventually get to like here's a door that I can go through. So second zone. Again, NES level games, if you grew up with them and you have nostalgia, you're probably going to be a lot more inclined to play them than if you're, somebody who didn't have any nostalgia for them, because they probably have not aged that well. This game does not look or play bad by any means, but the one thing is, if this is my only attack, it's kind of interesting because you do have to time it with the enemies, because it's just a projectile. You cannot actually, from what I can tell, you can't actually do anything to make it explode. You're pretty much just throwing it and waiting it for it. But whatever. Besides that attack, maybe there's some other power-ups you get later on. But for like enemies like this that I want to get past, is he just gonna? Okay, so every time I look away or throw something, I guess he's just actually intelligent enough to totally know whenever I'm gonna throw something at him or not. So probably something I'm missing there. If that countdown timer at the bottom is indeed what I have to abide by to get through this game, it's a little bit stressful because it doesn't give you a whole lot of time to figure out the ins and outs of everything. So there's got to be some kind of way to get these guys not to know that I'm trying to throw projectiles at them. And it looks like, okay, so if I throw them and look away, what is going on here? So all right, this game and me are not exactly cooperating with the enemy AI right now. I will tell you guys that very much. We finally got him, but and then of course he regenerates. So here we see. This isn't going well, guys. It's not going well. It's one of those games. Again, if I had nostalgia for it, I might be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, but this is just straight up frustrating to me right now. So we'll probably hop into a different game. Well, there we go. Let me see if I can get up this path. But you see the countdown timer there, and you literally do not have much time at all to go through and figure out this game. And see, right now we're back to that guy, and I swear he was not there. He was not generated until I went up to this top path. So I'm sure I'm missing something. There's got to be some way. Right now, we're good. Okay, so it's definitely tied to whenever I throw him, and I guess you can just time your jump just right. So anyway, this is an interesting enough game. We have another treasure chest down there. I wonder if you get different items to throw at enemies or different things in your repertoire there, because yeah, just that projectile is my biggest complaint with this game right now. We will go one more time and give this kind of a go to see if I can get these enemies down on their movements. No, it's not gonna go anywhere, guys. It's just not. All right, maybe. Okay, see, and there's some kind of tactic to it. I'll get it figured out eventually, but I do want to see what's in this chest right here before we actually. It's just another 100, just points, I guess, is what we're ultimately getting. Yeah, I think the 100 is going to that top-down counter. But quickly shifting the conversation to the NSO support and also the free trial, which is really cool. Like, you can at least, you know, hop in and check out these games as part of the 7-day trial if you're not a member right now. And to see 7 NES games drop, regardless of, you know, whether or not you think they're super quality ones or not, just that level of support all at once, I do like to see, because there are plenty of NSO updates with far less content than that. So this is also coming off the heels of a, I guess, mid-June update when we did get that surprise expansion pack announcement at the Nintendo Direct. So that was definitely a cool win. We got, you know, all of the various Game Boy Advance, or I guess Link to the Past, 4 Swords. Then we also got Metroid Zero Missions. That was definitely the highlight of the update for me. In addition to Perfect Dark and Turok on the N64. So still need to see a lot more N64 support, in my opinion. But nonetheless, we're cranking out some NSO updates here semi-regularly, and sometimes it's both. Different, like it's the base tier and it's the expansion pack tier. We'll go down to solo course on Mock Rider and see what that has to offer. Again, you know, these games, if you had nostalgia for them, probably more exciting to you if you grew up with them, maybe less exciting if you did not. But nonetheless, you know, you have some simple racers from the NES era. I'm just more or less glad to give, you know, Nintendo some kudos for dropping 7 at the same time. Hopefully there's something you enjoy on there. Golf, you know, we saw Golf release on the Game Boy pretty recently, and of course it has like a Mario cameo. I'm not sure if the NES version plays very different as far as it's just titled Golf. That's actually the title of the game. And I know there is like a version of this that I saw in the trailer that's probably like the battle one, where people are coming up on you and you're trying to shoot them down, because as you can see, like, your bike can actually shoot out projectiles here. But we'll just see if we can get through a little bit of a stage here just to begin with, to kind of give you some idea of the gameplay and progression. There are plenty of other racers that you could probably enjoy, but this one doesn't control too bad. I do kind of like the way that you're able to go around the corners semi-comfortably and not have too much to worry about. It's enjoyable enough. It is really funny to see the early adaptations of trying to make you feel like you're going extremely fast. Like, it's just very strange to see the pixels moving on screen the way they are, just to simulate that motion the way that they did back then. But nonetheless, you know, this is not a bad time. I'm sure it's probably maybe more enjoyable when you're doing like the battle mode and everything. And we'll just briefly hop into one more game and kind of also talk about, I guess we'll briefly mention, let's do this Urban Champion. I think this is like some kind of fighting game. So while we figure this out, let's briefly talk about if we might see Nintendo also do a expansion pack update this month. And with how early in the month of July this update hit, I think we have a little bit of a chance, whether it be a GBA or N64. It's potentially either one. I definitely think that Nintendo has been on a much better cadence recently of staying up to date with something new with NSO content than they have in recent years. So we'll see, you know, if we get an entire extra update for the expansion pack tier. If they do one update per month, you know, these aren't the best games in my opinion on NES, but 7 of them dropping for the base tier, and then we get something like 2 or 3 mixed between Game Boy Advance and N64, maybe even some Genesis love once again, because it's been quite a while since we've seen any Genesis games added in. You know, I'm all for that, and I think that that's a relatively aggressive schedule to stick to. So if Nintendo kind of does that 1 per month per tier update schedule, I'm good with it. This was a surprise shadow drop announcement, so let me know in the comments down below if you guys have nostalgia for any of these games, if you're going to be playing through any of them, or you know, reminiscing for some memories, or checking them out for the first time. Again, if you're playing them for the first time, these are very simple NES games. If you don't have nostalgia, you might not have as much fun with them, but not bad games nonetheless. So let me know all that in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. Make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.